Humans haven't left Earth's orbit since Apollo 17 returned from the Moon in 1972. In 2004, the U.S. President talked about his plans for the space exploration program. Since then, NASA has been trying to send human beings to the Moon. Some major deep space efforts by NASA included Constellation 2004 through 2010 and a few others. NASA plans to send astronauts to the South Pole of the Moon by 2025 as part of its Artemis program. Eventually, the agency hopes to set up a permanent presence on the Moon. Apart from these initiatives, another initiative involves the rapid acquisition of lunar delivery services from American companies. We'll discuss this initiative in this video. Commercial lunar payload services are commonly known as CLPS. The goal of CLPS is to improve scientific and explorational capabilities and open the door to Moon development on a commercial scale. One of the main advantages of these missions is their dynamic nature. The CLPS program is a crucial step in advancing the Artemis program and building a lunar gateway as the objective of reaching the Moon by 2024 approaches swiftly. In 2018, NASA welcomed 9 American companies to its CLPS project. Later, it added 5 more vendors. Thus, the number reached 14. The companies will provide commercial payload services, including payload integration. To date, NASA has funded 4 out of these 14 companies for 8 moon landing missions between 2022 and 2024. Let's have a quick overview of these missions before discussing each of them in detail. Listed in order of contract awarded, Contract 1 went to Intuitive Machines for $77 million, and at the same time, Contract number 2 was awarded to Astrobotic Technology, and it was worth $79.5 million. The third CLPS contract went to Mast in Space, with a value of $75.9 million. Fourth in line was the largest contract awarded, and it went to Astrobotic Technology for a whopping $226.5 million. Intuitive Machines' second award is worth $47 million, which is contract number 5. The sixth contract awarded went to Firefly Aerospace for $93.3 million. Intuitive Machines promised to launch the 7th CLPS mission in return for a $77.5 million contract. Finally, the contract for the 8th mission, planned for 2025, has been awarded to Draper Laboratory, worth $73 million. These CLPS missions will be fully built, operated, and launched by these companies. NASA will only dictate preferences for landing sites. All the companies are aware of the risks associated with these missions. The recent track record of such endeavors is mixed. China has made 3 successful landings recently, but the first landers from India and Israel Aerospace Industries for privately backed Space IL both crashed in 2019 while attempting to touch down. The success of these CLPS missions will encourage NASA to expand beyond delivering science instruments. Let's go into each mission's specifics one by one. This mission, originally planned for 2022 and looked after by Astrobotic, was recently pushed back to Q1 of 2023. It's the first commercial moon delivery assignment to advance Artemis. Astrobotic will deliver 11 payloads to Lasis Mortis, a larger crater on the rear side of the Moon. NASA has finalized 16 science experiments and technology demonstrations to be delivered on the Moon under the Artemis program. In 2019, NASA awarded Astrobotic and Intuitive Machines each a contract to launch the first 2 lander deliveries of the CLPS initiative. Astrobotic will launch its Peregrine lander, and it will carry 14 NASA payloads to the Moon. They'll investigate the chemical response of lunar regolith, validate the lunar surface solar array, collect information about the lunar radiation environment, and measure surface and subsurface hydration. The Peregrine lander will be able to deliver between 35 and 265 kilograms of payloads to the lunar surface. Of course, it will vary depending on the choice of launch vehicle and the amount of propellant needed to be carried on the vehicle. The lander is designed to perform an autonomous landing with a target accuracy of 100 meters. It's a similar version of Griffin, a lander that Astrobotic proposed prior to the Peregrine lander. The Peregrine lander differs from the Griffin in design as it uses a cluster of 5 ISE-100 thrusters. Now, Let's talk about Astrobotic's Cube rover. The Cube rover has the capability of surviving a 2-week-long night on the Moon amid extremely cold weather. Following NASA's Small Business Innovation Research Program, Astrobotic received a $1.8 million subcontract focusing on lunar night thermal systems. The rover is of great significance as it will usher us into a new era of robust lunar robotics where instruments and payloads can survive months or even years on the Moon's surface. Apart from Astrobotic, the other major company that's been awarded a $77.5 million contract to land the Nova C lander at the Reiner Gamma on the Moon in 2024 is Intuitive Machines. It will observe lunar swirls, and it can give information about the Moon's radiation environment and perhaps how to mitigate its effects. The mission, named IM-3 by Intuitive Machines, will deliver a total of 4 payloads to Reiner Gamma, having a total mass of 92 kilograms. IM-3 is the third lunar mission by Intuitive Machines, all using its Nova C lander. The IM-1 is scheduled to launch in 2022. The IM-2, which is scheduled for the fourth quarter of 2022, will land on the south pole of the Moon. Let's see how things pan out for Intuitive Machines. Next up are 2 companies that are in the initial stages of work on their landers. These 2 promising companies are Firefly Aerospace and Draper Laboratory. Firefly won the contract in February 2021 for its Blue Ghost lander, while Draper Laboratory wasn't awarded until July 2022 with its Lander Series 2. Let's explore a bit more details about these 2 companies and their missions to the Moon. NASA selected Firefly on February 4, 2021 to deliver a set of 10 research payloads to Mare Crisium in 2023. Mare Crisium is a basin on the near side of the Moon. The award is worth $93.3 million. The award is 6th on the list, but it's the first one for the company. The 10 payloads weighing 94 kilograms include science experiments and technology. These experiments include the measurement of heat flow from the lunar interior and X-ray imaging of the surface. Firefly will use their lander, named Blue Ghost, to deliver these payloads. The latest NASA CLPS award went to Draper Laboratory, which will be providing the Series 2 lander for a mission to the far side of the Moon. The value of the contract announced on July 21, 2022 is $73 million. The lander is designed by a Japanese company, iSpace, and the primary functions of the lander are integration and testing of payloads. The lander will ultimately have a payload capacity of 500 kilograms, but it's unlikely that it will carry this much load on the first mission because the lander will have to land on the far side of the Moon. Lastly, we'll discuss the most controversial company that was awarded a contract for NASA's CLPS program, Masten Space. They won the contract to land its XL-1 lander in the south polar region of the Moon. Masten was very passionate at the start, but later it stumbled. They won a contract in April 2020 for a lander mission and aspired to land a set of NASA instruments on Masten Mission 1, or MM1. The XL-1 lander would be by far the company's biggest space venture. However, in July of 2022, the company's executives shared that Masten Space had failed to develop the lander, and the company had decided to delay its launch, which was scheduled for late 2022, by a year. The reason being the global shutdown and resulting supply chain issues. Masten would file for bankruptcy in July 2022 as the company tried to find investors to raise $60 million but found no takers. Later in August, the company was bought out by Astrobotics as they were the winning bidder at auction. Astrobotics has said Masten will continue their work as part of Astrobotics technology. What will happen to Masten's CLPS contract with NASA? It's too early to say anything about it. NASA, however, stated earlier that if Masten wasn't able to carry out the mission, it would move the payloads it planned to fly on that lander to other CLPS missions. The likelihood that one or more of these missions won't succeed is not zero. By accepting that risk, though, NASA argued it was opening up new opportunities for low-cost transportation of payloads to the Moon, both for itself and other customers. This allows U.S. vendors to not only demonstrate their ability to safely deliver payloads to our celestial neighbor, but also expand the capabilities for others who want to take advantage of this cutting-edge approach to explore the Moon.